Hello, this is Harry Hawk, and I want to talk to you about the amazing changes that are happening on Facebook. It's very much like this train. I saw this while I was having breakfast today, a little mural in downtown Hackensack, New Jersey. The train is clearly showing somebody essentially getting in at one stop, and well, a few stops later, the world's changed. They've gone from 1880 to maybe 2040 or 2050. And in fact, that's what Facebook advertising is like. 2 billion plus active users. And the things that we would do on Facebook even 3 months ago, 5 months ago, today are really, really outdated. And there's very little reason to do them, in part because not only are you wasting a lot of time, you're probably also going to waste a lot of money. And all of this relates to all of the artificial intelligence or machine learning that Facebook has built into their algorithm. And the point is, however, that the algorithm isn't competing with you. It's not your enemy or your frenemy. The algorithm is your partner. And the algorithm is starting to get very, very good at doing certain things. If you've ever worked with anybody or been in a relationship, any kind of partnership, you know that if it's going to be successful, you need to do a few things really well. You need to know your own strengths, your partner's strengths, your weaknesses, your partner's weaknesses, and learn to get into a dialogue where you can start to backstop each other. You know where your partner may fail, where your partner may succeed, when to turn something over to them and when to take it back. And that is today the relationship that you should have with the machine learning or artificial intelligence algorithm built into the Facebook ad system. I'm going to show you some of what I'm actually doing with Facebook for some of my clients in just a minute. But the big point here is, as J.D. Prater, you may know from the host of the PPC show, says, this future really, it's about setting up the inputs and determining what the outputs should be. And so if you're on Facebook and you're doing advertising, you're spending money, there needs to be some tangible benefit for that ad spend. Selling something, getting a sales lead, getting a qualified sales lead, whatever it is, that's the outcome. And the input is all the different creative that you think should work well. And Facebook's going to help you test that, learn from it, and then you may need at some point to go back and revise Facebook's creative. In other words, after they've given you some learning on what works and what doesn't work, you need to go back and give them a new palette to work from. I have absolutely seen cases where people who are amazing writers, really, really good at copy, really, really understand their brand, I consistently see their copy test below, quote, less informed copy or copy that isn't quite as perfect. And now it doesn't matter how many clicks it gets. It doesn't matter, how many likes or loves or any of those kinds of things. What matters is when that copy leads to a sale, when that copy leads to a lead, whatever, that tangible outcome. But it's a dark art. And clearly I've also seen some well-written copy outperform poorly written copy. But we have, as humans, a lot of preconceptions, this Dunning-Kruger effect. We think we're better at things than we are. And while we may know some amazing ways of talking about things or presenting things, we don't necessarily know what's best for each and every potential customer until we test it. And that's what modern business is all about. It's being able to test, measure, and monitor what you're doing so you can revise, change, and iterate, making it better. So the big thing that humans need to do on Facebook today is to set up a funnel. And what we're looking at here, starting at the bottom, a very cold list of folks, and then moving up a warm group, And then finally at the top, a very warm group. This is a funnel. People who see the first set of ads will get retargeted into the next set, and so forth and so on. So this is a three-part funnel, which is going to be a smaller funnel. Some funnels may have multiple touch points, and in reality, many sales might have 50, 60, 100 touch points. But what we're looking at here is the funnel. And as we can see, as we're going, in the case of the slide, up the slide, up from 1.58 to 14.79, in effect, we're going down the funnel. The further down the funnel we go, we're seeing more click-throughs. Now, I just want to be clear, a click-through to me is an absolutely bad metric, or as I say on the slide, it's not generally a good metric. But in this case, I'm not looking at the clicks as an end goal or as an end metric, but simply here as a proxy for reception, acceptance, interest, and relationship with the brand. You can just see that as people move down the funnel, because they've already started to act and interact with the brand, they become more willing to do so. And then the challenge becomes at the bottom of the slide, which is, again, the very top of the funnel, those cold leads, is making sure that you're getting enough of those cold leads and you're filling up that funnel so that you're actually able to move enough people through to become leads. At some point, maybe stage 3, 4, 5, 6, at some point, these folks convert. It's also important to understand that many sales take time. So just because you could potentially in a single day move 20, 30,000 people through this particular funnel doesn't mean that someone is going to convert. If you're talking about a sale that has a very long lead, perhaps a car purchase or a home purchase, you can't necessarily just run it faster and make it work. So how the human, us, optimizes the funnel with different creative, different messaging, and different strategies, that's the value that today we humans are adding to this advertising environment. What the algorithm, the AI, the machine learning tool that Facebook provides, and Google provides one very similarly, but this Facebook tool, what it is doing is figuring out who to reach. It's trying to figure out who and on what platform, what device, what time of day, when is the best time to reach somebody, and which of all of the different creatives that you give them works best. And all of this works with something called a dynamic creative approach that Facebook has. You give it up to 10 videos or slideshows or up to 10 bits of display art. And you can give it 5 blocks of text, 5 headlines, and 5 link descriptions, as well as a choice of several different CTAs or calls to action. And Facebook mixes and matches these and shows them and figures out which ones will work best. And also, one of the major things that you set up are the goals. And again, as J.D. Prater talked about, this is the outcome. We set up the input, that creative, and then the outcome. What are the goals of each stage of the funnel? Is it a page view? And once we get enough page views, what comes next? We want a particular link clicked on, or we want someone to scroll down the page. We want them to visit some other page and read that page. And we want to take our time here. If it may take someone several weeks to come back to our website a few times before they really spend some time on the about our product page or a pricing page or a technical information page. And we can add up all of these points that people are achieving, and then we can wait until essentially we have the right amount of time and they've completed the right pieces, the right parts of the journey before then we go on to target them for a conversion, a meaningful conversion, such as a lead gen. It can get a little bit complicated, but it's a lot of fun. And what I want to show you here now is this is a very early funnel. This one here is a little bit mature, about a week old. But this one here, it was only less than 24 hours old. It's still in its very early stages of where the algorithm is learning about the creative, learning about the audience, and I, as the human who is managing this, I'm making adjustments. I'm not making adjustments to copy and segmentation. I'm not figuring out which device is working, but I'm trying and adjusting, and I'm using, again, in this case, click-through, to get a sense of what's happening, and again, to show that things are getting better. So you can see, again, the bottom here is the top of the funnel. We can see that we're getting almost 5% click-through rate, and then it jumps to 20 and then 30. So again, we're showing that engagement and interest is increasing as we're going down the funnel. Again, the bottom is the top of the funnel and the top is the bottom. And you can see here another type of click-through metric. So we're comparing several different click-through metrics as well as their costs. And this is outbound clicks. In this case, we're trying to get folks to visit a website. And so we can see that only 2% of the folks will do that at the top of the funnel. But as we move to that middle, we get this really big jump to 12.93%. So really showing that that is starting to work. And we can see that, again, in terms of all clicks. But, people can click on an ad and engage with an ad, which is a good thing, but that's not the same as deciding to go out and visit a landing page. Now, then the negative part here is clearly by the time we get to the third step of this funnel, we're getting a lot of engagement, 31%. That's pretty big. But when we look at the percentage that are clicking out, it's small. It's less than the middle. So clearly this part of the funnel isn't working. One of the big things is it's so brand new that we haven't filled up the pipeline. We haven't put enough people in to this to where hardly anybody is seeing that third funnel. So that third stage of the funnel, I should say. So, and so one of the strategies that becomes important is at the top. Do you do a strategy that may give you slightly less optimal traffic early on, but can really fill up the funnel so you can make sure that it's getting optimized? Or should you be very, very critical at that top of only putting in very select people? There's no solid answer for that. Some or all of that can work, and Facebook has tools to help you manage that. Anyway, if all of this is making sense to you, it's really important to understand today, when you're working with Facebook, what are Facebook as a partner, the AI, the machine learning tool, what are its strengths? And its strengths are in segmentation and testing different creative, doing A/B testing, that sort of thing. And what your role, the job that you need to do, the job that needs to get done, is to figure out the different touch points, the timing, the goals, and how to create multiple meaningful funnels that deliver tangible results for the business at a price that the business needs, right? A lead for a $5 purchase shouldn't cost $100. Now, it may cost a lot more money at the very beginning, and at the very end, when it's optimized, it could be, down to $1. So we shouldn't get discouraged if at first it may cost $10 or $20 for that $5 product sale, if we are going to be able to get it down to 50 cents or $1. And that's also part of this whole optimization phase of working with a partner, in this case, a machine learning algorithm, that it's on some level not going to work until it works. It's a lab, it's an experiment, it's a real world opportunity to learn, to watch, to adjust. But the important thing isn't to freak out. The important thing is to take that learning and use meaningful metrics, especially not click-through rates, but other metrics that I'm not showing, metrics such as real-world goals. Again, who's visiting the site, how long are they spending on the site, what are they doing on the site, and are they converting in a meaningful way? Anyway, this is Harry Hawk. I'd love to talk to you about your needs for Facebook advertising, or just to answer questions about a campaign that you may be running. I hope everybody has a great week. Bye-bye.